All right, welcome into my studio. My name is Danielle Turner Lawrence. I am with Pine Lake Pottery, and today I'm going to show you how to throw with this VEVOR wheel that was sent to me. I'm going to give you my honest review. I've did a video when I kind of unboxed it and put it together, and now comes the real test when I actually throw some clay on it. I have some Stoneware clay here. This is 1.3 pounds. This is like a typical amount of clay that I use to throw a mug, so I'm going to do that. And then if it works, I'm actually going to try with a little bit of air dry clay, because I know a lot of people that want to do pottery, they certainly want to start out and sort of see if they like it. This wheel is pretty cheap, and so if you can use air dry clay with it, with a cheap wheel, and get started in pottery, that sounds pretty great. So I've put everything together. The wheel has kind of forward and backward motion that I'll show you here once we get it turned on. There is a splash pan. I will say that it is it's a little bit flimsy, although it goes together pretty similar to my other wheel here. So I'm sitting next to my long-time wheel, which is a Brent wheel. It's actually pretty expensive, closer to actually I don't even know how much they run for, but certainly in the $1,000 range. And it's great. It's a powerhouse. It centers a lot of clay. I've had it for a really long time. But not everybody wants to spend like $1,000 plus to start and not know if they want to do it. So I think this will be a great test. Unfortunately, there are no bat pins on here, so it is just the wheel, which I think is probably aluminum, although I don't know that for sure, but there are some concentric rings on here. I will also say that the space in front of this wheel is not huge. There's probably, I don't know, maybe 5 inches here, maybe a little bit more. If I kind of scoot this splash pan back, I get more like 6 inches. So I grabbed my little tiny bucket of water so I can put that there. I will say I'm not a huge fan of putting it right next to the power source. Especially because if it were to spill right onto the power source, that would not be great. So I'm going to kind of keep it over there, and I would be maybe even inclined to put something over this just so that, this plugs in right here. I wouldn't want to get it wet. So, all right, well, let's see how it does. So first I'm going to turn it on. And, oh, there we go. It was on. It just didn't have a direction. So it goes clockwise and counterclockwise, so works well if you're right-handed or left-handed. It does have a pedal. I will say it is fully plastic, and it sort of maybe slides around a little bit, but again, what do you expect when it's this cheap? So let's see. I might actually want to kind of see how fast the wheel goes. Maybe a little bit of inconsistency there, but let's just go ahead and try it out. So I got my clay in a ball, smack it down. I definitely want to make sure my water doesn't fall off. And obviously, again, I have a table here, so I might suggest putting your water and everything else on a table to do this. I will also note, which I didn't mention, but obviously mentioned when I set up, is I had this on blocks. There's no way you could throw without having this wheel propped up on something. So it could be a short table, it can be these cheap concrete blocks, but you gotta have it on something. So, all right, got a little rubber rib, and then I've got my, this is a Cheryl Mud Tool sponge. Obviously any sponge will do. I will also say before I start throwing that it comes with the pottery toolkit. So there is a sponge and there is the things that are with it. They're pretty cheap. So I wanna just give it a go with kind of what I know. All right, so it definitely slows down a little bit when I'm pushing on it. So let's see. Oh, you know what? I bet I have it going the wrong direction. There we go. So I can definitely feel it give way a little bit as I put quite a bit of pressure on it. And I will also say that this splash pan is a bit tall, which means that I have a hard time kind of getting my hand, I rest my hands on this, but obviously the The pottery wheel is a little bit below, and you can hear it. You can hear it kind of going a little bit slower and faster depending on kind of how much I am pushing on it. So I imagine with you know, heavier clay or more pressure that you had to put on it, that in fact it would be tougher. So this is a really little thing of water. I definitely am used to a larger thing of water. You know, I think the true test is to throw bigger amounts of clay, but I'm not sure you buy this to like throw 5 pounds of clay on it. I think you buy this to make mugs and bowls and trinket dishes and small things on the wheel. And I think if you want to be able to throw big stuff, 5-10 pounds, you don't buy this. You buy a bigger wheel. So pretty good looking. Need a wire tool to wire that off, and I'll go ahead and do that. But all in all, for how cheap this wheel is, I think it's a pretty good deal. Again, it's not going to be $1,000 wheel, but it's $100. And if what you're looking for is to throw small stuff, I think this is a great starter wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, and then I will be back and we will try some air dry clay just to see how that throws. All right. All right. So I have about a pound of air dry clay. I don't ever throw with air dry clay, so just to be clear, I don't know how this will go, but I do think, again, if you're buying a wheel that is $100, being able to use it with simple products that you can get that are local to you, like air dry clay, and I think this is, I'll put it up in the thing, but I think this is like the Crayola air dry clay. So kids clay, you can get it, it's easy. So let's try the same thing. I'm gonna kind of just get it down onto the wheel. And just like anything else, I am going to see what we can do here. I had mentioned in my last video, it comes with like some very basic pottery tools. But those pottery tools have everything you need. They certainly have a sponge, it has a clay knife, it has a wire to cut off. So while I didn't maybe use those, this works pretty well. So check it out. It's a VEVOR wheel. I think if they could add some bat pins to it, I think if they could make the pedal a little sturdier, I think if they could ensure that there was kind of no change in speed when you add a little bit of weight to it, those would make it better. But the way it is now, you can throw mugs, bowls, cups, definitely small things that are under 2 pounds with no problem. And it even works with air dry clay, which was definitely a good test for me, having never even thrown with air dry clay, to be able to use it on this wheel. So if you're somebody who wants to spend $100–150 for a wheel, be able to get the air dry clay and not need to have a kiln, this works pretty great. So, all right, hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me some comments and I'll see you next time. Thanks.